Mike Alcoholic.
Amen.
You know, there's a specific aim of the four-step, in my estimation. It's to, at the end result, what I'm going to see is that my character defects made me believe things that weren't true. It made me believe things happened a certain way when it really didn't. It made me believe that I have resentments against people when actually a lot of them were fancied, because on that same page you read, fancied or real, these have the power to kill. And if somebody was to tell me before I did it, well, this is the end result, let me go ahead and tell you so you can just get that. It sounds like it would work, right? If I could just get the fact that, okay, I believe things that weren't true. It's like if somebody told you, here's this long formula, and then at the end they said, all of this is to lead you to this simple thing, E equals MC squared, and the person that was telling you was Einstein. E equals MC squared, that's the answer. And you say, okay, I can memorize E equals MC squared, but there's something about going through the exercise to get there that helps explain the answer and helps me really internalize and understand the answer. So, although it would seem easy to say, okay, the result of the four-step is that my defects made me believe things that weren't true, made me believe things about people that weren't true, fancied or real, and all of a sudden these resentments fall away because I agree they aren't real because they told me the answer. It doesn't quite do it unless I do the exercise, because what I have to remember is that by doing the four-step, I'm preparing myself to be able to know how to do the 10th step later on. See, so I'm shortchanging myself by trying to just do the answer and not do the exercise. And the reason I'm talking about that is because it's absolutely important. It's the most crucial piece, and especially it can be tough for people who have been around a couple of times. Well, shit, they did a four-step the last time they was here, and now you're asking me to write down Granny again and go through the same resentment? I already dealt with the resentment about Granny. I mean, so it can be tough if you come in 3 or 4 times and you're trying to do the same four-step and you write down the same names. But I'm going to speak in terms of if you're doing it for the first time. So my experience has been initially you're going to write down just a few names because you think, oh, well, I'm not mad at that many people right now. So I've had tons of sponsees, they write down 5 or 6 names. Well, that's all who I'm mad at. And I remembered my sponsor took me on 64 where it says we made a list of people, institutions, and principles with whom we were angry. And he circled the word were. And he said, that means if you ever was angry at them, you write them down. I was like, oh, wait a minute now. That adds a new little twist. Forgot that word, read right past it, conveniently. And then he showed me at the bottom of 65 where he read the topic where it said we went back through our lives, nothing counted. And what he said you need to do is that means the most recent resentments, the names are going to be first, and then you're going to go back through your life year by year and try to remember the words that were angry. And hell, I had names on mine from when I was 9 years old. Uncle Alvin knocked down a wasp nest. I was trying to have fun, and he spoiled my fun, and I hated Uncle Alvin for a fucking decade. Well, you know what? I were angry at his ass, but I had done forgot it. But that doesn't mean it's not valid. Because the fact of the matter is one of the additional things that the four-step is going to show me, and it must show me, and I must internalize, is that these defects were at work in my life before I ever took a drink. It's a fact. If I don't get it, I'm going to drink again. If I don't get the fact that the reason I probably drank was because these defects were on rampage in my life, and at least the alcohol settled the storm. If I don't get that I had these in my life before I took a drink, I'm really missing a big part of the four-step. So, of course, when I did the four-step, I realized that I was a mischievous little bastard, and Uncle Alvin damn well deserved to knock down the wasp nest because I was stirring it up for all the other family members. See, I was tunnel vision. All I could see is how he did me, page 62. Look what he did. I could not see how I set a ball in motion. But doing the four-step made me look at it objectively and see the truth where I had lied to myself most of my life about how something went down, and it did not go down that way. Reliving those things is crucial. Reliving those things is absolutely uncomfortable because I have neatly forgotten. Now, what about a mountain stream, right? You go up to Gatlinburg. Anybody can take a picture of a mountain stream in Gatlinburg. It's going beside the road. You park your car. You walk down there. You've never seen water so cool. I always do this example with sponsees, and this is what a four-step, and this accentuates the reason why once we start the four-step, we need to move on it and get done with it. And this is why most people get drunk, because they don't move on. And I'm going to explain it with the mountain stream. You get out of these, you'll see that water, you see the little fishies, these swimming backwards in the water. It's the clearest thing you've ever tasted. You taste it, it's so smooth. What happens if you take a stick and run it across the bottom of that stream? All the stuff that had neatly settled down is all of a sudden all over the place. It's not so clear anymore. Fishes have run away. It don't taste as good. That's what the four-step is doing to my life. All those things that had settled to the bottom, they're asking me to relive those things. They're asking me to rub a stick across my life. It's no wonder it gets uncomfortable and people do 2 or 3 names and put it on the fucking shelf. They go, wait, I didn't sign on for this. This is fucking scary. You done run a stick across my life and it's murky and all these resentments that I thought I forgot, I'm having to relive them. This is not cool. I don't like this shit. That's why I must go through with it quickly and get these names, knock it out, don't put it on the shelf. But then at the end, when I see the truth about them, when I've done my fifth step and I get to see, oh, well, you know what, it really didn't go down that way. All of a sudden, the resentment in Uncle Alvin falls away. And all of a sudden, it becomes clearer because I see a lot of the cloudiness was conjured up in my mind as an illusion. But until I see the final result, all I see is this uncomfortableness and all this hate that they've asked me to stir up. You see what I'm saying? You see the picture now. So the fourth step, I could tell you the answer. I've been around long enough. I already told you the answer. E equals MC squared. But that's not good enough. Because unless I do the process, I don't understand the answer. Until I go through the process, I can say externally the answer, but I still hate Uncle Alvin. Because I ain't done the fucking process. I must start it. I must finish it. I must acknowledge that without doing the rest of these steps, the defects that once made me believe things that weren't true can do it again. And if they did it before, they can do it again, and I can drink again. But if I see the truth, if I work the steps, if I start doing 10, 11, and 12 and start trying to become a different person, I don't have to let those things build up for a fucking decade. I can deal with them instead of 10 years. How about 10 days? How about live a life where instead of having to deal with some bullshit, maybe I can live a life where I don't have to create any new bullshit. That's when shit gets real boring in recovery, right? Ain't nothing going on. This sucks. Well, you know what? That's called serenity. And serenity is more than a fucking dancer at Sammy's. And I'm not going to find that until I work the steps. Even if somebody could tell me the answer of the steps is serenity, it don't quite do it, does it? I got to go through the process to get it. I've had a spiritual awakening as the result of these steps, and I'll pass.
Thanks, buddy.